Everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Cody here doing part 2 of the 10 league logo rankings that we started the other day. If you haven't seen part 1, basically what I've done is I found 10 random leagues using baseballmapper.com. Awesome website. I can't support it enough. Check it out. I put those 10 leagues that I found here in this Bucky mug. What I've been doing is just kind of going through, drawing them at random. Now initially I was supposed to do, because I did 10, I was supposed to do 5 in part 1. But I got a little overzealous and lost track of my count. So I actually wound up doing 6, and it took me much longer to edit as a result. But oh well, that's good news for you because now we've got just 4 today, and at the end what I'm gonna do is take every number 1 in all 10 of those leagues and rank those 10 teams from worst to first. Little treat, little bonus at the end there. Let's go ahead and get right into it with our first drawing of the day. Bucky's gonna give us a good one here. And we're gonna go with this guy, whatever this is right here, this one that I've crumpled up. Okay, all right. We've got Tidewater Baseball League for our first drawing of the day. This is a collegiate league. All I can say for this league is yikes. Jumping right into it, we've got honestly probably one of the worst logos that I've seen since I've been doing these rankings. The Virginia Beach Sea Dogs. Shout out to my Virginia Beach family because I do have family that still lives in the Tidewater area, Virginia Beach specifically. I'm so sorry that you have to be subjected to this monstrosity. Where to begin? Stitching and the dog are both extremely detailed. They're very hyper realistic. They look like drawings, the stitches and the dog. And then the Virginia Beach and Sea Dogs, that is straight up word art from Microsoft Word, and it's terrible. Like that logo, the font is useless. This is really bad. They get better from here, but only to a certain extent. Because at number 5, we have the Norfolk Redbirds. This Redbird here feels like it's like stolen somehow. The only reason I say that is because everything else about the logo is trash. The Norfolk Redbirds font looks like something you'd find right on Microsoft Word. I don't understand the stitching details there because the little stitch at the bottom looks like wheat or something. It doesn't really look like baseball stitching at all. And the reason I feel like this Redbird is a little stolen is because when you're on their Tidewater website, you're looking through the teams, and the Redbird that they use on one page is a ripoff of the St. Louis Cardinals old Redbird logo. And so I thought that was the initial logo, and to me that was gonna put this at dead last because that's just a straight up ripoff of the St. Louis Cardinals. But then I found this on a separate part of the website, so I have no idea what the actual Redbird logo is. If it's this, it's not bad, but that Redbird itself looks very good, so this feels stolen because the rest of it is garbage, and this just looks like a copy and paste job. I feel like there's some espionage with these logos. Something's happening here. There's some muckery about. Also, the Redbird and the words Norfolk Redbirds are not centered up in the baseball at all, and it's driving me crazy. This is bad. Okay, next up, we've got the Greenbrier Knights. This isn't awful. My big thing is it just looks exactly like a high school athletic logo. I feel like this is something I've seen a million times before, just from driving around the country and seeing like high school marquees. Font itself is not bad, and the actual silhouette of the knight look pretty good, but this just looks really amateur. This looks more, again, like a high school than a collegiate team. The colors are cool though. I like blue and black. That looks awesome. In number 3, I've got the Edenton or the Edenton Steamers, and I kind of like this one. It's fun. I don't particularly love the colors of gray with that kind of light blue. I feel like that could have been done a little bit better. It's not my favorite thing that I've seen. The expression on the clam is a little interesting. He looks a little dopey and cartoony. It's not bad. I don't really have too much positive or negative to say about this. The next 2 are a little bit better, but this one isn't horrible. Number 2, I've got the Suffolk Voyagers. Now I actually like this. I like the round element that we've got. There's no baseball located anywhere in here. But that's fine because it says baseball club on the bottom, and when a logo says baseball club or baseball team or includes the actual word baseball, it's cool to do that if there's not an actual baseball in the logo, because this is telling us that, hey, this is a baseball team or a baseball club. But if it had a bunch of baseballs floating around, it just becomes a little overkill. I like it when logos pick one or the other. You can show a baseball or you can say baseball. Again, that just feels like word art font. You know, not bad, but at least this one has like a little shadowing and a little bit more detail than some of the other ones we've seen. It's pretty cool. I like green and that little yellow trim around the letters with the black silhouette of the ship. It's pretty cool all in all. But for number 1, we've got to go with the Tarboro River Bandits. Now, I'm not saying I love this logo. In fact, I really don't. But I really like the colors with purple and black. I think that looks really cool. The actual River Bandit baseball guy looks pretty intimidating. I like his bandana and hat. He looks pretty cool. I do like that everything is in one elemental piece. So you've got like the baseball bandit, but you've got this text heavy thing down at the bottom that's going on. This isn't bad. This is clearly better than the other ones that we've seen. I still feel like this league in general is pretty weak with their logos, but this one is a clear winner. And this looks the most kind of modern and closest to like a professional minor league team. There are some other teams with bandit names who do this kind of thing a lot better. And actually, we're gonna see some more as I keep making more of these ranking videos. There's plenty of teams with the name Bandit, and I feel like a lot of them do it a little bit better than this. Not bad. Okay, well, that's the first one down. Now we've got 3 more left in this guy right here. So, Bucky, what do we got, man? Hopefully Marty will pick one at 1.2. He's floating around here somewhere today. I don't really know what he's up to at the moment. It worries me when he's so quiet. For number 2, we've got the Northern League. These logos are pretty interesting. Most of these teams play in Illinois, in and around the Chicago area. They've got some good ones here. There's some clear winners and some clear losers, but we're gonna go ahead and start with number 6 on this collegiate team for the Northern League, and that is the Crestwood Panthers. This logo is okay. We ignore the font and the text and like that shield in the middle. The rest of it is pretty cool, but that really brings it down, that text and font there. That's clearly just something that someone just added to from like Microsoft Word. Again, I'm really like critiquing some of these fonts here early on in this video. But I mean, when you see stuff like this, it looks so cheap and lazy, you know, but I do like that the font that they've chosen is like crisp and smooth, and it's not like dopey Comic Sans looking thing, but it just feels lazy and kind of thrown on there. I do like the red and black. I think that looks really cool. The stars on the bottom are kind of cool. The established date, don't need that, get it out of here. I don't know why we're seeing so many of these teams feel the need to tell you when they were created. Who cares, man? Let the logo speak for itself. I don't really care when your team was made. 1976, so you've had 50 years to redesign your logo, and this is still what you choose to present with your team? Not a good look, man. At number 5, we've got the Joliet Generals. Or Joliet. Is it Joliet? I feel like I've seen the name of this city so many times, and I've actually never said it out loud before today, so I don't know if it's Joliet or Joliet. Anyway, we've got the Generals. I feel kind of hypocritical because I've said in the past that I really like it, little tip of the cap, when teams don't need to incorporate or choose not to their location and their team name. We've seen so many like text heavy logos. I like it when teams kind of let this thing of just like, you know, let the actual like logo speak for itself. It's kind of like the current version of like the Baltimore Orioles is the first thing that comes to mind, where it doesn't have to include the word Orioles or say Baltimore anywhere, and the logo is fantastic. And I like these colors a lot too. The only reason I rank this a little lower, I feel like there's some that are a little bit stronger. And if there were more teams in this league, this would certainly be closer towards the top. As it is, it's number 5, and it's pretty good. I just don't want you to get the illusion that I don't like it because I've ranked it second to last. Please do not get the illusion that I dislike this logo. I actually really like it. But I had to rank a couple teams over that, including the Lake County Corn Dogs. There's a lot to say about this logo for sure. There's this pinstripe kind of rounded element with Lake County and Indiana and these 3 stars. And the whole thing feels crooked, so I feel like I gotta like really like crane my neck to look at it. I kind of wish it would just rotate itself so it was more upright. But I think the reason they did that is so that they could squeeze that hot dog in there, which actually, hold up. Where's his stick, man? He's a hot dog. You're not a corn dog. By definition, a corn dog has a stick in it. That's like the most crucial part of a corn dog, is it's like a portable snack. You got it on a stick, man, no mess. He's just a hot dog without a bun. Don't give me a hot dog without a bun and tell me it's a corn dog. This is a lie. This is not right. And this, I will not stand for this injustice, man. He's a damn hot dog. Okay, you got the Lake County bunless hot dogs.
Wait a second. Something's not right here. You were just making it look like you were playing. You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Come on, Chris.
The Lake County bunless hot dogs. Pretty fun logo, actually, all things considered. Moving right along to number 3, we've got the Southland Vikings. Yeah, this one's pretty sweet. I love that you've got a Viking popping out of a baseball diamond. We're so used to seeing like baseballs as the element that something's like inside or popping out of. And I love the use of going with the baseball diamond. I think that's a lot more original and creative. The Viking himself looks pretty awesome. And the font down at the bottom looks pretty cool too. That V has like a cool spike to it. that kind of matches the horns coming out of his helmet. I'm not crazy about the S there at the end. It looks so much thicker and bigger than the rest of the letters. It doesn't really match symmetrically or have a nice balance with that V at the beginning. But I do like the font choice. I think it looks really cool. All in all, this is pretty cool. Pretty well done with the Southland bike. At number 2, we've got the Northwest Indiana Oilman. Again, I love that he's coming out of a baseball diamond. That's so much cooler. And he's like, it's not even just like that diamond is behind him. He's literally coming out of it, like through it. And I love that. I love that this whole thing is contained in one elemental piece. Take a drink every time you're watching these videos and you hear me say the word elemental piece. I feel like I say it way too much, but when I'm like looking at all these logos over and over and over again, it's one of those things that really stands out to me. And when I say elemental piece, because I feel like that's a phrase that I just kind of throw out all the time, what I mean is that the mascot or the creature or whatever the thing is, like the team thing, in this case Oilman, is part of the same piece as the text. For example, the one that comes to mind is one that I did kind of recently with the blowfish, where you've got like the blowfish and then you've got like the thing down below, and you're like, what do I look at? Like, what is the actual logo? Is it this? Is it that? Why are these things not together? Why are they not interacting in any way? Just a little bit of context, but in this case, all of this stuff interacts as far as like the name of the team with the actual mascot, and this works really well. I love the shadows on him. They block out his eyes and they make him look kind of tougher. Guy's like absolutely jacked, ready to just crush one. This is really cool. But for my number 1 pick, we gotta go with the Chicago American Giants. This logo has really stood the test of time because this team is kind of borrowing, and I use the term borrowing loosely. They are using what was once a Negro League baseball team logo, and honestly, all of the logos for those teams are incredible. From a historical context, they're extremely important, but from like a graphical design perspective, they're incredible. We're gonna call on another one today before much longer, and I'm really excited about that. So this is kind of a good foreshadowing for some of these logos. I would love to do a specific video for all of those teams one day down the road. It would be really, really difficult though, because they're all so good in their own right. I love that this team has decided to use the name and the logo of the American Giants because it's a really cool way to preserve history from a very important historical baseball league. Love this logo. I can't say enough good things about this logo. This is so well done. All right, guys, we're halfway there. We're living on a prayer. I've only got 2 names left in the Bucky mug, and I don't even know like what's left league-wise. I forgot kind of like what we've got still on the table, and I even have them all open on my computer in front of me, but so we're gonna kind of find out together because I have no idea like what we've got in store. We're gonna go ahead and go with our next pick, which is the Mid-Plains League. This is a pretty fun little league. All right, let's get into it. Like, what a perfect transition, because the league that I mentioned that borrows on another Negro League team is actually in this league, so that couldn't have worked out any better as far as our transition goes. There are 6 teams in this league, and as far as their logos go, it's a yikes for some of these. That said, let's go ahead and begin with number 6, and that is the Midwest A's. Like, what is there to say about this that can't already be just like glaringly obvious? This is borrowing from the Oakland Athletics. It's boring and lazy. It's a damn shame because the Oakland A's are one of my favorite teams, and just to like rip their logo off completely, is gonna get a big thumbs down from this guy.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
At number 5, we've got the Junction City Brigade. So the first thing that you see is just the word brigade that just kind of pops out at you. And that actual text and font choice is not interesting enough to be like the biggest graphical piece on this logo. The baseball down below is rather large, especially like in comparison to the baseball bats, which makes it look more like a softball, which is no bueno. I'm not crazy about the camo in the background. This is the first logo that I've seen since I've been doing these that incorporates camouflage, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I don't know why that choice was made. That JC down at the bottom doesn't really feel very centered. For me personally, when I see the words JC on a logo like this, I immediately think junior college. I'm not criticizing junior college athletics. This looks like a logo for, like, for example, Brigade Junior College. But we know it's actually Junction City because of that Junction City up top, which can just leave and make this logo a little bit better, but they wouldn't really be helping a lot. This is still not a great logo. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Baldwin City Blues. I don't know, man. It's a baseball playing a saxophone. Because that baseball doesn't have any arms, he can't really be playing it, and so it just looks like a baseball with a saxophone in his mouth rather than a baseball playing a saxophone. So I use the term playing saxophone pretty loosely. His sunglasses are like droopy, so he actually looks like depressed. He doesn't inspire like any fear or ferocity. He just looks like a depressed baseball I kind of feel bad for the guy. I don't know, this just puts me in a bummer mood. This is giving me the blues looking at this logo. It's not very good at all. At number 3, we've got the Topeka Golden Giants. I like this one a lot. I like the shield or the kind of crest that's in the background that the Golden Giant is popping out of. He's got a lot of personality. I love his expression. I love his little like hair tuft at the top. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't know why, but he's got these sideburns that kind of remind me of Elvis Presley a little bit. I like it. This is a cool logo. Well done, Topeka. At number 2, we've got the Sabatha or the Sabatha Bravos. I'm not really sure the exact pronunciation of the city there. It's really hard not to draw a comparison to Florida State with the Seminoles, both in terms of color and the design on the Native American up there. I'm not trying to get like PC or any kind of like argument about anything. I'm just kind of looking at this for what it is. And it's pretty cool. The font is very cool and stylized, and I like it. There is kind of a weird gradient going right through the middle that makes the top half a little bit lighter than the bottom half as far as like that maroony color. I can't say I like that a whole lot, but by and large, this is pretty sweet. The biggest element is obviously the text, but that text looks fantastic, so it works. He is sort of behind the text, but he's got a feather that's coming in front of the text, so this is like layered very nicely. Say what you will about this kind of like logo or design, I think this is done very well. So again, I'm not trying to get into any kind of PC argument about anything with using Native American culture for sports logos. I'm just kind of looking at this for what it is, and for what it is, it's sick. As I alluded previously, we've got yet another team logo that's borrowing on a former Negro League baseball team. This is not an exact copy of the Kansas City Monarchs from the Negro League baseball. It's its kind of own spin on it, and I like that a lot because that original logo was, again, so sick, super iconic, beautiful logo that has very much stood the test of time. But I do like that they've borrowed on that and they've kind of given it their own spin. And it's very simple. You've got a very simple M with a crown on it, but it's really effective. Had to pause there because my video card was full because I never delete anything. So whoops, I have no idea at what point I paused. So let's kind of back it up a little bit and follow up. You could argue that it's a little too simple, but I really think that the simplicity for this logo works in its favor. This is really cool. It's simple and clean. I love that they've been able to preserve the history from the team, Kansas City Monarchs. I think this is fantastic. I love this. I think this is great. If you've clicked on the part 1 video and now this video, based on the thumbnail looking for a specific league and you haven't seen it yet, rest assured it is this one. I have no idea which one this is, to be honest with you. I haven't been crossing them off or anything, but this is the final league that we're doing in this video. And I gotta say, before I reveal what it is, this has been a very fun ride, guys. I appreciate you sticking around, watching me both rip apart and praise some of these teams and their logos, because some are great, some leave a little bit more to be desired, but either way, this has been a lot of fun, guys. All that being said, our final league today, it's a good one. It's the Mavericks League. Again, I'm gonna say it, but don't worry, because this is the last time I'm gonna say this between part 1 and part 2. This league is pretty interesting. All 4 teams are playing in one stadium in Salem, Oregon, and this league is actually owned by a former minor league team. So again, with this whole rebrand that we saw a couple years ago, the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes were one of those teams that unfortunately got left out as far as not being included in the final 120 minor league teams. The team kind of took it upon themselves to create a new league, which is very commendable. I really, really respect that. And there's a lot of really cool history behind some of these team names and logos that we'll see. So I'm really excited to kick this one off. This is a fun one to end on. It's actually pretty funny that we're tail ending part 1 and part 2 of this video with a league taking place in Northwest Oregon. I don't know, kind of interesting. At number 4, and I'm sorry to do you dirty, we've got the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes. Now again, like I mentioned, this is the team that actually owns this league. This is the team that sort of spearheaded the creation of this league. Because I've lived in Western Montana for most of my life, I'm all too familiar with most of Northwest Oregon. I've been there a number of times. And so I've known about this team and this logo for quite a while. I never really liked it. I always thought it was kind of weak, especially for being a minor league team. The volcano in the background is very lackluster. That S for Salem is kind of whatever. I think it's supposed to be like lava inside that's blowing out. I think there's a much better way they could have done this. I'm really not crazy about the shadow from the volcano either. It's just, the whole thing is just kind of like a confusing mess. The colors are pretty fine. I always thought this looked really amateur, and I'm sorry to say that, Salem. I think that this league is awesome, but I think this logo is pretty weak. At number 3, we've got the Campesinos de Salem Kaiser. Even though this is a different team than the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes, when the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes were a part of minor league baseball. This was their Copa de la Diversión rebrand. I think that the Copa initiative through minor league baseball is one of like the unsung heroes for sports initiatives. It's really cool, and it's just not very well known at this point. Over the last 3, 4, maybe 5 years, minor league baseball has been doing a fantastic job of creating more teams into this, and in fact, like, stay tuned, because here in March, there's actually a few more teams that are going to be joining the Copa League, and I think it's going to bring it up to like 90-something out of 120 minor league teams. As it is, when Salem Kaiser was a minor league team, this was their Copa rebrand, and now it's its own unique team taking part of the Mavericks League, which is cool. Just to kind of clarify, this used to be the same team, just as like a rebrand. Now it's a separate team altogether in this league. And I think this logo is pretty great. It's super busy for sure, especially the stylization within the actual font. But I do like that it's kind of popping out at you like an old, like, kind of comic book looking superhero-y kind of font. That's pretty fun. The dude himself is pretty cool. Can't see his eyes. He's got a shadow that makes him look somehow like tougher and fiercer. Love the pine trees in the background. I like this. This is a pretty fun logo. So at number 2, we've got the Salem Senators. This logo is really cool. This actually is a pretty old historic team, and I love that this league has been able to preserve that. We've actually been seeing that a lot in this part 2 video, like preservation of old team names and logos. Salem is the capital of Oregon, so you've got like the Capitol building there, like with the dome in the background. And what's super cool about it is there's an actual statue on top of that dome part of the Capitol. It's like a Paul Bunyan-y looking woodsman. His name is Goldman, and this logo actually incorporates him. Instead of like the hatchet that he's actually got a baseball bat over his shoulder, and that is so sick. That is one of like the coolest sort of like subtle details in a logo I've seen in a hot minute. I absolutely love that, and this logo is phenomenal. So then what's number 1? This is the last logo that we're gonna see in what's been a wild ride in this 10 league 2-part series. I cannot not pick this logo. We've got to go with the Portland Mavericks. What we're seeing is like a trend for this part 2 is preserving some of these old historic team names and logos. And they were a team that used to play in the 70s. They've been able to revamp the team using its old logo. This is the Mavericks League, so it's a little, you know, you got to pick the Mavericks in this one. And this was always such a cool logo. This is a very iconic logo to the city of Portland. Black, red, and white are very well established colors for the sports scene in Portland, like obviously with the Trailblazers. I've seen this logo a bunch. I've seen it on t-shirts, seen it on hats, I've seen stickers of this, and I always thought that was pretty cool because this wasn't a team that existed during that time, but people felt so strongly connected to this logo, and I've seen it like all over the place. And so I love that the Mavericks League has decided to use this logo. And how could they not? It's Mavericks League, you've got the Portland Mavericks, it's the same name, and I really feel that it stood the test of time. You've got the home plate as like the baseball element in the background. This logo is just a lot of fun, and how could I not pick it at number 1? The Portland Mavericks, number 1 overall in the Mavericks League. Well guys, so that was all 10 of the leagues. We have now officially covered every single league that I have listed in the thumbnail from part 1, for part 1 and part 2. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. As an extra bonus here, as promised, I'm gonna be ranking every single logo that I put at the number 1 spot from worst to first. I got a little overzealous in part 1 and did 6. Today my workload's a little lighter with only doing 4, so let's just go ahead and add a little bit of fun there. We're gonna go ahead and start at number 10 with the Chicago American Giants. I feel like I just got done praising this logo to high heaven just a couple minutes ago. It's a gorgeous logo, is absolutely deserving to be number 1 in the league that it's represented. The only reason it's number 10 is because it's just an exact copy. We will be seeing the Monarchs here down in a little bit, and even though that's borrowing the same name, this is just an exact copy of a team that no longer exists. And I love that they've been able to use it and preserve the history there, but it is a logo that's been around and established for a while. This is a team that could have easily like come up with their own thing, but they chose to preserve history, and I love that. That's absolutely commendable. I just got to give more points to originality for teams that decided to create their own logo, which we'll see coming down the list. And that is the reason why I also have the Portland Mavericks at number 9. It's just an exact copy of a team that previously existed. I like this one a little bit better than the American Giants. I love the energy that this bull, dare I say, brings to the plate.
Hey, funny guy! I got a joke for you! What smells rotten and puts people to sleep?
Noxious gas?
No! Your act!
At number 8 here, we've got the Tarboro River Bandits. Now again, as I mentioned, I don't necessarily dislike this logo. It's pretty good as a standalone. This is my least favorite of the like original and not borrowed logos that we've seen. Again, it's not bad. I don't necessarily love the energy that he brings. I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm kind of noticing now that that T on his hat is off-centered. Because his hat is facing one direction and we see the T kind of front-facing like that, it just means that like the T, instead of like being here on his hat, it's actually moved to the side so that we can see it more front-facing. And that is just a very lazy tack on. I'm just not really a fan. At number 8, we've got the Kansas City Monarchs. Again, I really like this logo. It's very simple, and the simplicity does this logo a lot of favors, but the ones coming up here are just a little bit better in my opinion. We've got the East Side Diamond Hoppers. Again, very fun logo. He's making a diving catch for that buggy baseball, which is super cool. I raved about it then, and I will say this now, I love the colors in this. It's a little lower because it is a little like text heavy. So that's kind of what's bringing it down here. It's just a little too text heavy, but by and large, this is an awesome logo. At number 5, we've got the Pierre Trappers. We saw this from part 1 of the 10 league logo ranking. I pulled a little bait and switch because I had actually had a different team ranked at number 1, and then at the last minute decided I liked this one a lot better. I'm glad I did that. I stand by that second guess. The more I look at this, the more I absolutely love it. Again, with like the trap jaws clamping down on the team name, and he's got, I think I said it was a fox in part 1, but as I'm looking at this more, I'm pretty sure it's a wolf that's on his head. But he looks just as fierce as the trapper guy does, and there's so much personality from those two characters. This is super cool, very sick. The one thing that might be bringing it down a little bit more than some of these other ones is I'm not in love with the colors. I think they're original and creative and unique, and they work well, but it's just not my personal preference on the colors. At number 4, we've got the Matsu Miners. When I talked about this logo in part 1, I believe I used the word symmetry, but after I rewatched it, the word I meant to use was balance, in the sense that you've got the Aleutian Islands coming off of the state of Alaska, and the word miners spilling out on the other side creates this like left and right side balance, and I like it. Again, I feel like there's a lot of variations that you can do with this. You can get rid of the state of Alaska and just have it say miners like across like the jersey, and that would look really clean. You could also get rid of the Einers and just keep the M and get rid of the other letters and just create, you know, that green state of Alaska with the yellow M would also look really nice. They have the option to use like kind of different variations of this logo, and it's great. It works so well. Simple 2 colors, green and yellow, looks so sick, and this works so well. I'm in love with this logo. This is really cool. At number 3, we've got the Tupper Lake River Pigs. This logo, when I first looked at it, I was like, this thing is insane. This is crazy. There's a little, maybe perhaps too much going on here, but the longer I looked at this, the more I really liked it. I've said this before, but I really love the perspective. Like, he's lunging forward so much because he's all big, like huge arm, big face, but these little tiny legs, his lower body is really small. And that's super funny to me. It just creates a lot of like energy and a lot of like action. He's just kind of popping out at you. I really like the stylization and the little details and gradients, like for his nose and his arm, and even on like the log and his baseball bat. I still have no idea what that is coming out of the end of his bat. It's some kind of like hook for fishing, I guess. This is a wild name for a baseball team, but the logo is awesome and it works really well. And I'm really happy to put this at number 3. I feel strongly with that. At number 2, Be Still My Beating Heart, we've got the Portland Rosebuds. That's 2 teams from Portland on this top 10. Portland is doing it right. I could gush about this logo all day long. This is honestly probably my favorite variation of red, white, and blue, which you can find in baseball logos. That's a dime a dozen color combination. That sort of like sky blue with that just vibrant popping red. This is easily one of the best logos that I've come across since I've started doing these logo rankings. I'm like borderline obsessed with this logo. But for number 1, I'm sorry, this has been a day 1 number 1 for me. The West Virginia Black Bears out of the MLB Draft League. Again, I lived in Pittsburgh for a few years, so I've known about this logo. Morgantown is about an hour outside of Pittsburgh. It caused me to go down this rabbit hole of looking at like all their alternate different logos, looking at their stadium. I fell in love with the team right away. Tragically, I've never been to a game, and it's kind of killing me now as I live in San Antonio, so it's a little bit more difficult to sneak to Morgantown and watch a baseball game. The Black Bears were the Class A short season affiliate for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And as a Pirate fan, I love that connection. I was always like super proud actually of the logos for the minor league teams affiliated with the Pirates. I've always thought they were super strong, maybe outside of the Indianapolis Indians. That's a whole other topic. It's a whole other subject for a totally different day. Anyway, this logo it's so beautiful. I love how cold everything looks with that landscape. You can tell it's kind of nighttime. That bear looks super tough. I love the text. The font looks fantastic. Those colors look so well together. The West Virginia up there at the top is very clean. I love that the baseball element that they've gone with is actually a moon over the mountains at night. It's a very unique creative touch, and I'm into it. This logo, S tier, God tier. Well guys, it's gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed it. We're now all the way through all 10 leagues that I found, again, courtesy of Baseball Mapper. Please check out that website. It is a great way to kill time, pass time during this lockout. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below though. Tell me which was your favorite league. Tell me what was your favorite logo. Really interested to know. I think we've done something like 50 logos combined between all 10 of these leagues. I gotta say, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys sticking it out with me and watching this. Stay tuned for more because I've got more leagues on the horizon courtesy of Baseball Mapper. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll catch you in the next video.